everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful day of LCS Academy. The sun is shining, the birds are probably chirping. I don't know, but
Can you
it's
hear
gonna
them
be
over the construction?
honestly, they probably scared them all off. That's for sure. My name's Sierra, your host for today, and I am joined with these two lovely humans. First off, hello, Joshi. You're stuck with me last week. You're stuck with me again, but how are you doing?
I thought I was rid of you, Sierra, but we still got it. We got another 2 days together, and after all 5 of them, I think, we're either going to be best friends or worse, so there's going to be no in between.
A little coin flip here, but if there has to be a villain on the broadcast, well, it's magical right down at the end.
Yes,
Was
good,
up.
good. Yeah, I'm glad that you credit me with the designation that I rightfully deserve.
We'll see. Maybe if you're a little too nice over the broadcast, we might take it
You
back. So
suck.
just switch it.
How's that? Did I start off on a strong note?
Production, I need some help.
I thought you were going to be more like Doofenshmirtz, right? Where you're evil, but you're actually just, like, helping people all the time. I
Barry
don't know
the
if I like this
Platypus.
version magical.
Especially with the in the lab magical that we see going on. I like that, Joshi. That's the perfect fit. But we're talking
I don't
about
have
a
the
little
lab coat right now. Leave me alone.
Okay. My bad.
We'll go
My
back, we'll go back.
bad. We'll
That's
get,
all you,
yeah,
Sarah.
you can grab that later. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about your alter ego, but other alter egos and egos we should be talking about. We're missing them on the broadcast, Kangas and Rafa, but they're having their own fun. We're going to go check in on them to see what they've been up to.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you showing up on such short notice. I'm sure it was a shock to hear that I'll be at Wild Rift Icons for all of June, which unfortunately means I will not be there for the start.
Still can't believe you got that job, bro.
I invited you all here today because, of course, you'll be the ones picking up the slack while I am gone. Now, first thing on the agenda, we have 6 new players making their Academy debut, and Anime Girl has changed his name to Soul, so make sure to note that. Yeah, no, I can't make it. What? How come? Look, this is my 3rd meeting today. Kenby just got promoted to LCS, and I am buried in his onboarding paperwork. Sorry, man. I don't have time. Don't you know, same here, actually. See, I was supposed to coach CLG Faith this split, but they replaced me last minute with Solo and some weeb named Lopally. So instead, I'm just going to take the family to the lake. Ooh, that's rough. Sorry to hear about that, man. Yeah, I can't make it either. I made a specialty smoothie for a player named Malice, and now he's a positional coach. So I got to lay low for a little bit. Uh-oh. Good luck. Rafkus, I think that just leaves you.
I'm coming to Icons with you, dude.
Shit. What are we gonna do, guys? Here, let me call Kelsey.
Hello?
Hey, Kelsey. Yeah, so turns out none of my backups can make it.
We already announced this. We hired Sierra.
Oh, thank God.
You didn't ask that Kungus guy, right? Just so we're clear, I've been meaning to fire him.
Rip Congus, that's all I could say, man.
He deserves it.
Oh, dang it, dang.
Wow, you really are a villain today, Magical. Jeez.
Hey, I got a profile and a personality / brand to live up to now.
Okay, he's going all out. It's like I have to make sure nobody forgets. But you're up to some more wholesome stuff, some more fun stuff. You and Cubby were just at C-Law. How was that? We got some clips and some footage to go through as well. But tell us about your experience there and what was happening.
CLO was fantastic, honestly. I loved watching it. There's a lot of players that I now have my eyes on for 2023 that I think need to be picked up for Academy. Like, just looking across the board, you look at University of St. Thomas, I think pretty much everyone on that roster can have a argument for deserving a spot in Academy. Then Bay State across the board, a big upset, like coming out, making it all the way to the finals, playing their hearts out. But I look at Cernok on that team, and I think he and Sophist Sage, and Dragonman as well, as he pops up on the screen, are all players that I really want to see if they get picked up as well.
Look, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Shogo at all. The guy had the tournament of his
Well, okay,
life. He looked so good.
Yeah,
We were
Shogo's
expecting it to
really
be the Robbie
good.
and Kitsua show. Shogo is just so strong suddenly in his ability to play, and it was a little bit surprising to watch like how UST was able to take down some perennial favorites like Maryville earlier on in the tournament and go on to take the entire tournament. But it is a situation where there's a lot of strong players here. It's not the only place where you can find developmental talent. Collegiate is going on, high school is going on, and I know I've seen several of these players, like Kim Down playing for UCI. I casted him when he was a high schooler, and now he's looking to make his way up into the top echelons.
Yeah, and USC really did deserve that trophy. They got a 3-0 there, and I'm glad you talked about Shoujo, because Shoujo is like my #1 prospect right now. I look at him and like, no, this guy needs to be in Academy yesterday. And I also then have to make an argument for Sophist Sage in the bot lane. I think he was also someone who really stood out. And then Scary Jerry of Converse University, the ultimate Cinderella story that got cut short in the semifinals. But there's so many players. There's so much potential here in CLOL to make it like further on into Academy. And hell, I would even see an argument that you could tell me that Shoujo 2024 is the MVP for LCS, and I'd buy it.
And that's such a wonderful experience for those players as well, being able to play out on that stage, the trophy lift at the end. Absolutely amazing. And that's something that we can definitely look forward to in the world of developing talent of League. And not the only thing to look at either. Oh my gosh, that's a little bit of a tongue twister. Okay. Proving Grounds closed qualifiers. I'm not even going to try with abbreviations here. Going on. We have the playoff bracket, and there are some things shaking up here, Magical.
Taco Tuesday! It didn't work out for Taco Gaming. But they still at least got a game off of 100 Next. 100 Next are like our perennial, this is the team to watch. You have to always pay attention to them, whether it be last split, the year before that. They always seem to have such great developmental talent. So I'm not surprised to see them go further. But the latter half, the bottom half of the standings, Jake's Kittens were another favorited team. They have Ryoma on it, for God's sake. They were expected to be a team that we would see contest that of 100 Thieves X, losing 2-0 to Cincinnati Fear. And then Team Pending 2-0ing Evil Genius Prodigy with another amazing talent in Mia in the bot lane that we expected to be doing great things for Evil Genius Prodigy. Team Pending just come out there and be like, no, we're the new kids on the block, and we got to get it upset like our Fear before us.
One team that I actually am really impressed though is, again, Taco Gaming. Even though they went up against 100 Thieves Next, who has familiar faces, like I know Dark Wings is currently playing on that team, and of course General Sniper, a huge talent on the upswing. Taco Gaming still take a game off of them, right? Yeah. Taco Gaming is a team to watch, and I feel like this is going to be one of our more competitive splits in the amateur scene, right? The fact that 100 Thieves Next is not just blowing the competition out of the water is really exciting. We got some very talented people down there still looking to try and make their way back up and prove to Academy rosters that, hey, don't send me back down there. You want me on your team for next year. You can't afford to just drop people. And Darkwings, again, I feel like Darkwings on 100 Thieves Next is a player who had such a big upswing towards the last Academy spring, and now he has to fight his way back. It's crazy.
But I also posit this to you, Josh. How much was the win that Taco Gaming got off of 100 Thieves Next them playing well, or was it really the Taco Tuesday buff that they received?
Oh, it's always Taco Tuesday, man.
Taco
Even if
Tuesday.
It's not Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday.
Even though they played
Today's
really
Wednesday,
well,
it is Taco Tuesday.
It's just Taco Tuesday. Okay, I just want to make sure we clarified that. So, honestly, I'm so excited for the developmental scene that we have, whether it be collegiate, amateur, the academy. There's so many players, so much talent here in North America, and I will scream this from the highest mountain peak. Please, everyone in LCS, look at the NA developmental talent. We have a ton of it.
Yeah, and also put a bit more respect on Taco Gaming's name here, Magical. Come on, saying just because it's Taco. Nah. Because they've been doing some good things for a while. But bringing it back over to Academy and a bit more about today's show, there's a couple of more things we need to talk about before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. First off, patch updates. Got to keep in tune with what's going on. My eyes, and I'm sure Rafa's as well, right away drawn right to the bottom looking at the new skins, because those are absolutely fire. I think the best part about this patch, in all honesty, because I don't really think there's too much else going on despite all the information on the screen, Joshi.
Yeah, with all the changes that are going through, a lot of the champions have been really strong, like Wukong, Sen, and Gwen. They're still going to be really strong. Kog'Maw is also going to be on that list. However, a couple of small changes might be bringing champions back into the forefront. Tahm Kench top might be playable once again. We're going to be paying attention to how the Ryze and Aphelios buffs, because these champions, while they're not necessarily good in solo queue, they have always been good at the highest level, and when the best players can pilot them, perhaps they go from being, middle of the pack picks to taking over the game once again. But those are really kind of the big changes we're going to have to pay attention to, is just suddenly two champions who are perennially good in the top level potentially making their way back to the top.
No Bel'Veth fuck, even if she's not enabled
Not
this
yet.
week? Not
Next
yet?
week we'll
Not
talk
yet,
about
next
it. Fishy.
We don't even want to mention the Void Queen. But like, hey,
Nope.
good job, you're here on the Rift.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, then let's talk about Grievous Wounds, because Grievous Wounds actually took a pretty big hit, which I was a little bit more surprised by, because I feel like the healing and durability has been perfectly fine, and then they were like, nah, less heal cut, make it so that it's non-existent, and there's no reason to even buy these items now.
Yeah, honestly, there's so much on this patch note looking over. I'm intrigued to see some of the changes, how much it will impact. Not quite at all. That's something to be decided. But we're talking about changes, and there is going to be a couple of new players coming into their second week of Academy here. Though, these are names that are not unfamiliar whatsoever, Joshi.
Yeah, you say new players. We've seen all of these guys before, right? Busio's
New.
coming back. Darshan's coming back. Kumo was playing in LCS, so let's go. Philip having an opportunity to play in LCS. I've always been excited for this player, so he finally has an opportunity to do it. But the only one that people might not be as familiar with is Mash. Previously, Don't Mash Me is now coming back to play for CLG while we still await some visa issues. And Luger going to be paying more attention to LCS once again. So this is Mash's opportunity. He's been a coach for a while, but just like Stick say, he kind of wants to prove that he still got it.
You only don't know MASH if you haven't been paying attention to LCS like me for their entire lives. Because MASH has been a big part of LCS going all the way back to like 2011. Don't disrespect my boy.
What about the kiddos, Magical? We still have plenty of kiddos who this might be their first time. We gotta reintroduce them.
Last time he played in any professional capacity was only 2 years ago. It was in 2020. It's not like it was that
but
long
I don't
ago.
even remember what happened this spring. It's okay. Well, we'll look at more. We'll see more Mash. He's not on this stream, actually, so we're going to leave that mostly to Cubby and Dastrox to actually take you through that. But do start paying attention. We do have a lot of returning players, and we say they're new, but they're still the same old bangers that we knew them all to be.
Definitely, but we want to hear from our, I guess, old players that it's week 2. I really shouldn't call them old players. Or existing players as well, and what they've been saying on socials about their first week of Academy, how they're feeling heading into second week here, because we have to stalk them, see what's up. First off, yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Yikes. Acadian06, good week.
Okay. We will smurf soon. That's what we know is going to happen. He just needs to make a good tweet about it, and I think we'll see more, right? As this team starts getting the rest of their roster to complete, when they actually get their starting mid laner to come in and take over for Choose, it definitely feels like Golden Guardians can have an upswing, but they just need to figure out what they're doing in the meantime.
I agree. I think that's been a big issue for a lot of our teams, is that they don't have their full roster, still playing with temporary subs. It makes it really difficult to quantify how good or bad that team actually is.
Yeah, the growing pains as everything's starting to get together. On to our next tweet, though. Let's see who is next and who we're talking about. Jenkins. Definitely a more positive note. 4-2. First week back in Academy. Happy to beat my former teammate at TLA. Looking forward to the rest of the split. That's cool. That's a nice wholesome note.
I like Jenkins. I've been a big fan of Jenkins since he was on Team Liquid Academy and popped off his Kennen play, his Gangplank play. Always a treat to get to witness. And him back in Academy, it's bittersweet. I'm really happy to get to cast him again. I always love this player, always want to root for him. But I also want him to be in the LCS. I want him to be able to battle his way back. But it's also against our MVP of Dokla. So then it's also, I'm conflicted there. I'm like, wait, but Dokla popped off last plate. I want to see him in LCS. It just... the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma right now.
The conflict, the splitness. It's a rough life out there, that's for sure, trying to cheer on multiple different people. Next week, though, we'll keep on rolling. Let's see who is up next. Busio end a boot camp with a surprise. Ooh, all right. Let's see that. Let's see the picture. I love seeing the clubs. I love seeing the players meeting each other, having a good time. It's some good stuff, Yoshi.
Yeah, and I feel like Carry is a very natural idol for Busio too, right? They're both supports with hands. They both go for 6 plays. As Busio's laning phase and game sense continues to improve, they're only going to get better. And so maybe someday, you know, just like Faker was the biggest fan for Busio previously, maybe Kyria can join those ranks.
Kyria is also a fantastic support player, like you said. Got them hands like Busio does, and I think that's a great person to be able to boot camp with, to learn a lot of the trade, kind of get some shot calling tips from him as well. Because Kyria, in my mind, is one of the best supports we've ever had in League of Legends history.
All right. Now rolling on through, see who else we're keeping in touch with. Expect the unexpected. Ooh, coming out from Destiny. Joshi, what are we expecting here? Let's get this picture. What's going on?
Well, we already knew that Darshan was coming back. He will be playing today, but you got King and Destiny there on your left, looking for opportunities to come back. They're still waiting their visa issues to be finalized, but they are here in the United States. They are ready to play. They're raring to go. But for today, even though they're still here, we're still going to be seeing Wixie and Trevor, but we know that these guys are super sick, having multiple finals between them, multiple championships in the Oceanic region, and now it's just a matter of can they continue that success here in the North American scene.
Love that. Expect the unexpected. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now on to our last little string of tweets here. And I know there's an Arrow one here too. We always love Arrow's tweets. Can't wait for this week. And they make food and host. I gotta say, Arrow just posts a lot of food pictures on Twitter. It makes me a little envious of the cooking skills. I think he said he was the spaghetti clutch king. I can't remember the exact words. Yes, there it was. Thank you. There's also a couple people responding to this as well about their own thoughts. Original picture was just Arrow posting his delicious meal, and then Dokla, no food pick at night, please. Makes me hungry. Honestly, a little too relatable.
I was just talking about Dokla too, the MVP from last split, commenting in there, saying, comes on me at the end of that to say, yeah, you know what, please, no food. No food
I gotta go to bed. You know, Dokla's too swole. He can't be eating overnight. That's just how you. That's how you bulk up, but that's not how you stay fit and lean.
It's the worst thing when you're trying to sleep. You're watching like a YouTube video, and an ad comes up for like Taco Bell or something, and you're like, "Ugh, I wasn't hungry before, but now I need something. I gotta go get a snack somewhere."
Yeah, you don't want to be laying in bed and you hear your stomach rumble because you're not falling asleep. You're not falling asleep. It's all said and gone, but that's it for keeping up with our Academy players over on Twitter on this week, and it's time to get a little more started with our show. Going over to the schedule to what you can expect heading into today. First off, over twitch.tv/academy, as always, 3 fire matchups. Make sure you want to stick here because we're going to have some good matchups, but make sure to keep the tab open. Go say hello. Go support these players and those teams, as well as the amazing broadcast talent over there. As for us, over twitch.tv/PathToLCS, these are our 2 matchups we're going to be focusing on for today. Evil Genius is Cloud9, and then we have Immortals and Team Liquids. Should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. And the only thing I will say that is unfortunate is the Immortals Team Liquid game is going on at the exact same time as the TSM 100 Thieves game. I think those 2 games are like mine to watch, both of them equally, but they both go at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm just so bummed by that because for, you know, me, no, because I'm casting, regardless, I wouldn't be able to see it. But for the viewers, it's just, you'd want to be able to watch those individually, pay attention to them so emphatically. But you're not going to be able to. You have to split your attention at best, but more than likely you're going to just choose the one that means a little bit more to you, and I think they both deserve some respect.
Yeah, you get the dual monitor set up. You can watch both of them at the same time.
Well, you're not giving them the respect.
It's not the respect, man. You have to then put them on 2 monitors like I have here. You're kind of going at one, but then you might miss a play on the other. You're going back and forth, back and forth. No, it's not the same.
Not the same. Okay, just stick with us for our matchup, because then you get to hear Joshi and Magical cast over it, and it'll be a great time. That's for sure. Going on forward though, if Let us know what you're excited to watch today. Let us know what you're thinking about Academy so far, and make sure to follow Pat the LCS on Twitter for all of your Academy updates, so you know which stream you have to be tuning into to catch your fire matchup. Oh.
Also,
Okay.
Pat the LCS, shout out to Austin behind the scenes because he had my back against the LCS, stealing my content.
Okay.
I can't believe they've done this. Oh, the huge manatee.
All right, before Magical gets himself in trouble, let's start talking about the matchup that we're starting our day off with. Evil Geniuses going up against Cloud9. Both of these teams a little bit of a rougher start to their Academy Week 1. We've talked about it a lot last week. This league isn't necessarily about the wins, but what we can see the players do. But I also like to put some wins next to their name. Just, it kind of helps out. Evil Geniuses a little further ahead, though. Pulling up that roster, sitting at this 2-4. Magical, where are your eyes drawn going into this?
When I look at the Evil Geniuses, I mean, my eyes are drawn to the bot lane a bit because I think Calorie is a big part of the success Evil Geniuses tend to get. And his positioning, when you look at the victories they got last week on day 3 of week 1, because they were 0-4 going into that day. They got a 2-0 sweep going against, I think, Golden Guardians Academy. And a lot of that was off the back of of Cowrie's positioning, making sure that he wasn't getting himself overextended like he had in the previous 2 series, was in a great spot to carry the team. But also then I have to look at the top lane, look at Tomio, look at Surdy, and how they're able to play, because I think if they can get Surdy ahead as well, then you start seeing that they don't just have to rely on Cowrie's positioning, they have dual threats.
Yeah, well, heading into today's match, going up against Cloud9, pulling up that roster as well. 1-5, another team that's kind of struggled week 1 of Academy. But Joshi, where have some of the highlights been from this team?
Well, we have to look at the one game that they've won so far, right? It was a game where Sheeden on the Viego was able to just take over the game, right? There were very few kills coming out against them in their game against IMT that they actually won. But now we also got to pay attention to the fact that they have one of their star top laners coming back in, Mr. President himself, Darshan. He was one of our best laning top laners in spring. We expect him to be able to continue that, and he'll be picking up where Alorm left off. Now, we know Alorm has captained a lot of teams with rookies in the past, but Darshan, we're expecting to have a little bit more success now that he's back, now that he's very comfortable, and now that he feels like he's in control. I can imagine this Cloud9 team is going to look better than they did in week 1.
It's also one of the 3 missing puzzle pieces that they have. King and Destiny, that we saw the picture of earlier, is the other 2 missing pieces. So now that you're slowly getting the team built back together, I have a lot more confidence looking at Cloud9, how they can perform. They got a victory in the last game last week, so with Darshan and someone who's really confident in that top lane, who we can see play a myriad of different picks, I'm curious to see how they perform still with the 2 rookies in the bot lane, the 2 temporary subs.
Yeah, well, heading into today's matchup, we're going to be looking at this jungle face-off here, Tomio and Sheeden, to where some team could take an advantage. We got some clips here. Magical, where are we looking at in this matchup, and who do we need to step up?
If I'm looking at this matchup, I'm looking at who needs to step up. It's got, like, for the side of Evil Geniuses, it has to be Tomio, especially because facing off against Sheeden's someone who, if he gets an early lead, like he did in that second game against Immortals Academy, he started off this game 3-0 on, 3-0 on Viego. He was off, 2-0, it was 2-0. On this Viego, and he was absolutely dominant. He controlled the entirety of the map where there's not much Chad could do to try to gain back control. So Tomio cannot slip behind early. He has to make sure that he is keeping up with Sheeden to make sure this game stays relatively even.
And there's some parallels between their storylines as well, Sierra. We know that Tomio came in, he was basically a solo queue player before he was picked up by Evil Genius as prodigies, and he had some great success early on. Now Sheeden's kind of in a similar position, right? We knew that Sheeden was going to be going over to Evil Geniuses before his competitive ban about a year ago, but ever since then, people have still been looking at him like, we know this player is super strong, we know he's got the solo queue talents, we know he's mechanically sick, but is he going to be able to fit into this competitive environment? And so far, I mean, Cloud9 haven't seen a whole lot of success, but again, the one game they won was because he popped off.
Well, also the fact that he did want to play with Copy. Copy wanted to play with Sheedan and vice versa. So they have that core identity with the team, and I think having Darshan, another reliable lane, might really facilitate Sheedan to play even more aggressively.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about Darshan, because another matchup that we're looking at is in this top lane. Darshan going up against Surdy. Joshi, break this one down a little bit more for me.
Yeah, we know that both these players
Surdy
have a
watching
long
the
history
cage.
and kind of expectations to continue having success, right? Darshan has been one of the best top laners in Academy for quite a while. He's kind of the measuring stick that we use to measure most of our other top laners just on like whether or not they can actually lane. Because Darshan, he's going to threaten to kill you at level 1. But Surdy, he's been having some decent success as well. He's actually been winning most of his laning phases. But the question that he's been having is a similar question we had about Harry last split. He's consistently doing pretty well in the laning phase, but can he take that advantage that he got in the laning phase and actually convert it onto the rest of the map later on in the mid game? The answer has been mixed so far, and this is his measuring stick to find out if he can continue beating up some of the best laners in the league.
Well, especially because when we look at the matchup between Darshan and Surdy, you normally would go, okay, Surdy's really good at team fights. He's really good at making sure that he can position properly for the late game team fights, but so is Darshan. Darshan not only is more than capable in lane phase, can get his own solo kills, but he positions amazingly. He sets up his team perfectly, regardless of champion. His Gnar is absolutely disgusting to see. While I doubt we'll see it today, it is something that you always have to worry about is Darshan on any team fight capable champion.
And we know that that's something Surdy's working on too, right? He's been talking about how he wants to better understand his role in different teams. He doesn't always need to be the Giga carry. He doesn't always need to be a Chad, right? He can sometimes just sit back, play that tank, make sure the rest of his team is going to be having success. And that's, again, another challenge. Darshan has been playing for a long time, but he is very focused on being the big, strong man in the top lane.
Yeah, well, I have down here too, Magical. Someone that we were looking at that you were kind of excited about was Wixie heading into this matchup. I already see that smile on your face. Why are you keeping eyes on Wixie?
Look, Wixie is one of 2 players that I think deserved an academy spot. Him and Tony Top that didn't receive that. While they're playing temporary sub duty right now, I think these are 2 fantastic players that honestly deserve to remain in academy. And looking at Wixie, I think Wixie has performed admirably in this bot lane. He's been able to at least hold his own. His positioning looks a lot better. And keep in mind, this is like big for Wixie to kind of prove himself, to say, I am still here to compete. Even if it's only temporary, you should still look to pick me up in the future.
Yeah, he's always been a good defensive player, right? We know that he tends to stay alive a lot longer than he has any right to. But the question is going to be, is that going to be enough? Is that going to be the opportunity that you need to kind of stand out? Typically, the answer has been no thus far, but Wixie, we know he's very strong at team fighting. I think he deserves a spot to continue playing in Academy, and now we're going to be seeing some of his last games here on the Academy stage before King and Destiny come back.
It's kind of a bittersweet send off there. But let's get into it. Let's watch Wixie and everyone else as both of these teams are trying to prove that they're more than the losses that they took last week. Champ Select is ready. I'll catch up with you 2 later.
All right, thanks, Sierra. We'll see you in our halftime show, but we got to get down to business. We have to get into our first series of week 2. Cloud9 Academy taking on Evil Geniuses Academy, and honestly, I'm expecting to see a lot of shakeups, even if Sheedan probably will get the same treatment of that Graves and Kindred ban towards him. I'm expecting to see that Evil Geniuses might aim a ban towards Darshan.
Yeah, I'm curious what they'll end up doing, right? Darshan coming back is a pretty important member for the side of Cloud9, but I kind of want to take an opportunity right now, Magical, to kind of look at how Kyrie's performance has been, right? In their 1 win, or their 2 wins they had over Golden Guardians, he performed quite well. But this is a guy that we were talking about as this guy should already be in LCS. Right? And I don't know if we've necessarily seeing that from him so far, right? The player that we knew as the best AD carry in the Academy scene hasn't necessarily been standing up. He's been losing some of the laning phase. He hasn't necessarily been meshing with Smoothie. So now, going up against Wixie and Trevor, this is a time where we need Kyrie and Smoothie to showcase why they were so hyped going into this, and giving the Senna over is giving Wixie a fantastic defensive tool start.
But I'm expecting to see an Ezreal Karma from the side of Kaori Smoothie, something that historically does really well into a Sen and Tom Kench lane. But this is also not guaranteed. It's not necessarily going to be that Tom Kench in the bot lane, and that's why you see the Viego be the priority Tomio takes.
Yeah, we've definitely been seeing the Senna come out multiple times, but we also know that it can be flexed between Wixie and Trevor. It's one of the few lanes that have actually been playing on both sides. With the Talia comes through, Copy and Sheeden can both play. It's in the Tom Kench, so a very strong core, a very strong backline already built up for Cloud9, whereas Evil Geniuses, they have a much more skirmishy style available to them. We know that Kaori can be very aggressive on this. We know that Tomio has played more of this champion than anything else that he's played. The only thing that challenges it so far is Wukong. And EG, they're playing a much more touch-and-go style as they pick up the Karma.
Which is also an expected pickup. Looking at that set of Tom Kench, kind of touched on it before, but the Talia pick is the one that you touched on that I really do want to focus more on. Because Talia, I think, despite the nerfs that did come towards her on 12-11, sorry, I almost flubbed that up, but I think she's still relatively effective in her duty. She's great at wave clearing, she's good at jungle clearing. The nerfs, as you kind of touched on, Josh, weren't that impactful.
Yeah, I mean, she's got technically a little bit more damage in your burst, but slightly longer cooldown, so it's not quite the consistent, just raw DPS coming out the entire time, but you can expect a little bit more clearing power. You did see the change to her E, and I think overall, we're going to be seeing that Talia should be pretty much in the same space that we were actually looking at. Now, we know that both of them can choose to play it. Neither Copy nor Sheed have played it so far this split, but it's such a versatile champion. Armeo had a great game on it. Pretty had a great game on it. There's so many tools that this has, and it just creates so much range that Evil Geniuses are going to have to try and get in on.
And this is why we see that Victor has been banned away by Evil Geniuses and 2 mids on the side of Cloud9. It almost feels like Evil Geniuses are trying to force the Talia to go mid lane because now they've locked in an early Azir.
Yeah, this is definitely a decent spot, right? You do not want to give more tools over to Cloud9 to just control space on the battlefield. The Victor gangplank off the table. And Evil Geniuses, they've now picked up their primary way of actually getting fight started, right? It's going to be on Saligo, one of the people that we were looking at from Evil Geniuses, who was supposed to be their shot caller last time, now having a little bit more agency in the actual game. I think this is a good pickup for EG because they can challenge the range, but also a good pickup for Saligo specifically.
And then Yone has been locked in by Darshan, most likely. Could still be for Copy, but we'll find out in just some time if it's going to be in the top or mid lane, because there's one more pick for the side of Cloud9. And since they're hovering at that Fiora, a potential takeaway from Surdy. He likes to play that champion a lot. It is what they opt for, so it will be Copy on Yone and Sheeden on Talia.
Yeah, I actually think this is a really cool opportunity for Cloud9, right? They've opted into one of the best 1-3-1 compositions we've seen in a long time. Yone on the side lane, Fiora on the side lane, very difficult for Evil Geniuses to try and challenge. And the core, Talia, Senna, Tom Kench, it's so difficult to engage upon. They play from such a long way away. Evil Geniuses are going to have to really find some way to get in, but they are fighting fire with fire. The Kale comes through. We got so much split pushing power now coming out. So much raw damage is here on Evil Geniuses.
And so this is something that when talking to the players for in the lab segment I did, many players mentioned Kale. A lot of them talked about how Kale is this underrated champion that we'll start seeing more and more of because she's not as easy to bully in the lane phase as she had priorly been. It was normally Cassidy and Kale who did not have a good laning phase, always were taking chunks of damage and being forced out of lane or getting solo killed. Now they have a bit of an easier time. Still, it's going to be difficult for Surdy because you're going up against Darshan's Fiora, and I doubt Darshan's going to play that passively.
Yeah, no, Darshan does not play these passively. He looks to optimize his level 1 very aggressively, and Fiora, it's a blind pickable champion right now, and it doesn't really have a ton of bad matchups. Going into the Kale is one of the few where the Fiora is not just a decent matchup, but dominant in its ability to play early on in the game. Expect to see those grass procs coming through, expect to see him poking at the vitals, and this is the test, right? We were saying, we expect Kaori and Smoothie, they need to be dominant this game going up against Wixie and Trevor. But Darshan into Surdy, Darshan is the measuring stick. How tall is Surdy?
And not
He's
only
pretty
that,
tall,
yeah, he's pretty tall. But how much of a factor will the junglers be for that top lane? Since you have that Talia for Sheeden, something that is mobile, can move around the map fairly efficiently, and has a good wave clear speed against Tomio on Viego. I'm curious to see that, but I hear we are ready for our first game. So why don't we just dive into it, Josh? Why don't we get ready and set for some gameplay of League of Legends actions here in the LCS Academy, Evil Geniuses Academy versus Cloud9 Academy. both teams towards the bottom of the standing after 1 week, but this is the time for them to bounce back.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
this is definitely an opportunity for both of them to really step up, find some wins, right?
Here, Josh,
Oh, God.
get some water. I'll take over for a second.
All right,
Get some
thank you,
water
thank
in
you.
It's all good.
Woo!
I'll talk like I'm smart. So, yeah, jungle pathing, reset timers. What else does Cubby say? Oh, no, this is a,
Sometimes they talk about counter picks.
counter picks, but no, here's a special one for you. Chess. Chess and Elo.
Chess.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Did I do a
All
good
right,
job?
Very good, very good.
Mr.
You did a good
Colorcaster?
job, Magical. That's exactly what we were looking for.
Do I get a star this time?
You get a star. But we also, real quick,
First star.
for our observers, could update the scoreboard real quick. Tap O 2 times. We will be able to see how things go. There you go. Perfect. We see all
Let's
the
go.
trinkets come through.
Let's
and
go.
it is going to be a fairly standard, like, slow early game. We're not going to be getting our shenaniganeries. Unfortunately, that's going to be later today when we get to see Chan doing crazy things early on. But
As he does.
this is, again, a situation where I want to watch how Cloud9 are actually able to play this. The previous iteration of Spring were really good at actually playing through multiple lanes. They were very strong at playing all these side lanes, whereas this time they haven't been quite as coordinated. And now that Darshan is back, I'm kind of expecting them to be a little bit better at that. He'll be calling out, hey, I need you guys to create pressure for me so that I can play in the side lanes, because we are going up against the death timer that Surdy has.
I will say, clever move from Compy. He's in a fairly bad matchup in late, the first levels, Yone versus Azir. So what he did was proc the tornado off of the Raptors, so he could have that available to start helping him out with clearing these early minions that are just getting held by Saligo. Sure, he's still behind, but at least he's getting some back.
This is incredibly bold coming out from Tomio. You see that he crosses over. She knows exactly where he is, and Tomio just going to be taking these Raptors away. He should be able to go for this duel, but Sheehan sees where he is.
Well, the thing is, Tomio also knew where Sheehan was. He also saw the pathing because they had placed a ward on top of... pretty much there was a ward reciprocal from each side on red buff. So Tomio knew that Sheehan had pathed down towards the Krugs and possibly could have contested that. And while he does contest a bit against Sheehan, will slow him down just a touch, he took a lot of damage for it.
Yeah, but the big thing, that play is not possible if Saligo is not creating pressure in the mid lane, right? Because Tomio walked through, he got the push there. Saligo was always able to move before Copy was going to be able to. So that allows Tomio to get out of that. Even though it was a little bit dicey, he gets most of the Raptors at the same time. But we also see this kind of crazy imbalance, right? Darshan pushing up very aggressively in the top lane. In fact, 3-1 in CS currently. That'll even out a little bit. But the bottom lane, carrying smoothly, they're doing a decent job.
Trevor just barely wasn't able to get the Abyssal Dive. Was able to get off those shackles pretty quickly, but here's the top lane. While I talked about how Kale isn't as punishable, if you send Sheehan top lane, you can definitely do a good chunk of damage where it sets up Darshan to just dive by himself, proc the Vital, riposte for first blood.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at, right? Darshan, dominant laner, you give him this good matchup. He's pushing Surdy around, and Sheehan just making sure that they're going to be having success up there. This is already looking so much better than what Cloud9 was able to perform in the first week here in summer, and Tomio trying to recreate that success.
Looking for the bot lane. You got to make a play elsewhere. The chain's connected on all three. The flash is coming out. This is going awry quickly for Evil Geniuses. Copy on the hunt, but the double ward placed down by EG will at least assure their escape.
Oh man, that looked like it was about to be disaster, right? All three people getting rooted all at once. Luckily, Tomio hadn't taken turret aggro. Everybody was able to get out without taking too many turret shots, but man, that is a big win for Cloud9, looking at their ability to shut down this Kale, prevent the scaling, and Darshan... Oh. Sheehan! What was that?
He had Smite.
Buddy! We keep talking about how good you are. You can't be doing this kind of thing. It's, it's okay in week 1, but week 2?
Yeah. Maybe, no. I get what it is. It's a reset. Yeah. Yeah.
Fast reset.
Yeah, fast reset. It's a fast pace, because now he's got the boots, so he can go get the revenge on Gromp, but still remain on the map. That's what it is. Yeah.
Obviously, all planned. Well, it is really unfortunate, right? That's not a good situation coming in for Sheehan. He loses a lot of tempo on that. He's now kind of messing up his pathing, but he's going to try and fix it with violence. It's always the answer. He's trying to find Surdy who has no mana.
I was about to say, speaking of bad news, we look top lane and Surdy is getting a beating.
Yeah, this is looking really tough right now. Remember how we were saying that Kairi and Smoothie needed to step up this game to show that they were going to be able to beat Wix and Trevor? It's getting worse very quickly. The situation on the top side means that Darshan is going to be a huge problem in the side lane, and Surge is going to take so long to come online that Evil Genius is like, yes, they eventually have that win condition available, but Darshan leaving a freeze up in the top lane. Surdy has to be very, very bold to try and step up again, and Sheetan's still in the wings.
But here's the play countered by Evil Geniuses, looking for the flash out of Wixie in the bot lane, but
Oh,
with that
no.
last embrace connecting in the knockup, and Smoothie was taking the turret the whole damn time, so 2v3, Cloud9's temporary bot lane turns it around.
Oh no, once again, the root coming through, the slow.
Okay, this'll dive, but that's going to be the arcane shift away. Trevor's got the thick skin, so he'll be fine. But it is going to be a lot burned by the side of Evil Geniuses to escape, with losing one in the process.
Look, Alex, I talk about having friends a lot in League of Legends, but I think Evil Geniuses like each other a little bit too much. That's the second time that they've caught themselves with multiple people caught by the Senru all at the same time, and this time, Smoothie caught underneath the turret, ends up dying for it, and they're trying so hard to get this bottom lane rolling, and I honestly don't know if they have another great option than to keep on trying.
Yeah, at this point, you just got to go with the definition of insanity. Do the same thing over and over again and
What,
expect a
David Shaw?
different result. Huh?
David Shaw? Mid laner?
Who?
Insanity.
Oh, oh,
Dignitas.
no, I only know online names.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Like, I don't know your real name. I just know it's Joshi.
Joshi, that is my real name, but I am starting to worry very heavily for Evil Geniuses, right? This is a team that was not having a lot of success in the first week. They only beat Golden Guardians, and we have to admit that that's not a huge measuring stick by which that you can expect to see a lot of success. Golden Guardians with Choose playing has not been looking particularly strong, and when you are relegating Surdy to taking away jungle camps from Tomio, one, you're cannibalizing your jungler. Now Tomio's
Yep.
not going to be able to farm that, and two, you're in a situation where he's potentially at risk of getting dove already. Cloud9 are
He's
moving
level
Wixie
7.
and Trevor topside.
Look at Darshan. He might just be able to do it solo. That's only level 5 for Surdy. No divine intervention to keep himself alive. So Sheetan, even if he spotted out, could still threaten this out. Now that you have level 6 barely ticking for Surdy, it will dissuade the dive.
Well, that's going to dissuade the dive for now, but it's not going to dissuade them from trying to take the Rift Herald. Oh, Soligo!
Copy. Ooh, good trade by Copy there mid lane. Catching Soligo. This is the time when he's going to be able to battle back effectively against Azir. He can now duel really well into the range of Azir, since all Yone needs is a couple levels, needs some of those abilities so he can constantly dive in, low cooldowns, chunk out Soligo, rinse and repeat.
Oh, that's Surdy's ultimate. Still,
But it was also
Wixie and
Darshan's.
Sheetan. Yeah. But Sheetan and Wixie are still around. It looks like they're hitting the Rift Herald right now. So that does leave the Tom Kench kind of alone on the bottom side. And Copy. Uh-oh.
Copy went out, looks to ult away. Probably a wise move so he doesn't die. But it's another play thwarted for Evil Genius. It's not effectively happening. And like you had talked about, like you had called out, Joshi, that was the Rift Herald being taken by Cloud9. So even if you left Trevor by his lonesome in the bot lane, how many plates did he end up losing? I don't even think that he lost that many plates to the Ezreal Karma.
I mean, I would expect that they've lost at least one, possibly two, but here comes Sheetan, another dive.
No ult on Surdy either. Look how low Darshan is. They're trying to see if they can trade aggro, and it's a turnaround. Surdy at least takes one into the grave with them.
All right, good job from Surdy to not go down for free. Oh, 3 plates already go down for Evil Geniuses, and now they're looking for another potential dive. And Tomio just taking things away. Things look so dire right now. Yeah, Surdy got that trade kill, but he still loses a wave and a half of minions that were crashing.
Okay, so it looks dire. It looks like things are getting a little bit out of control for Evil Geniuses, but we do have to look at how they possibly can come back into this game. Because I'm looking at how Tomio's played. He's been trying to get these plays to work out. Even if they haven't been effective, he at least has gotten some of a goal and somewhat of a minion advantage. Well, you can see that in gold, he's still behind about 500 gold, but that's negligible, really.
I mean, the big thing is, like, Evil Geniuses, they still need to actually go and make plays later on, right? Now it's on
Right.
Soligo because their bottom lane got gifted 3 plates. That's pretty exciting. Kaori's going to be stronger
top
than
lane?
he was going to be. Top lane's a problem, and it's on Soligo, who's now going to be, like, their big go button, right? We talked about this a bit in Champion Select, Alex, where Soligo was previously a shot caller. Now he's focusing on his own play. He has played this a couple of times so far on both this split and last split, but oh gosh, it's looking really tough.
I like this positioning from Smoothie. He's just hanging out in the area in case Sheedan is as well, noticing that there's a potential freeze. Surdy gets flashed in on, but bot lane is the dragon taken. Surdy sidestepping. No, the seismic shove barely comes in time for a nice kill for Sheedan.
4th death, a beautiful clinic coming through from Cloud9 on how to punish overly defensive laners at this point. Kaori getting caught.
Flash, good flash. Had to burn that, but kind of turning the tides back to what you were talking about, this top lane. I mentioned it's harder to punish a kill. It's not impossible. And right now, it is pretty much the showcase of Darshan Sheedan. These two players seem to be perfectly in sync with one another.
Yeah, they're looking fantastic, right? It's where almost all of the plays have come through for the side of Cloud9 is just Sheedan and Darshan coming together. Now, I know last split, we actually had an opportunity to have Sturdy on the desk at finals, right? Where he was talking about how one of the things that he thought that Darshan and Dokla did really well, and in fact did better than him, was the ability to call people up to the lane. But now, Tomio is getting called down to the bottom side, and Sturdy is continuing to be left on an island.
But these bot lane dives just don't seem to be very effective, nor do they mount to much. While the plates are there for Evil Geniuses, as that you had called out, Joshi. This all goes back to the fact that it was the play around Rift Herald set up by Cloud9 in order to then get themselves that top lane turret afterwards that got the plates in the bot lane in the first place.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have to look at is, well, that.
Smoothie. There's the flash. Okay, I was expecting him to flash away. Just burn the summoners out of the EG bot lane. You already got the flash off Kaori. And since Kaori's pretty low on mana, he's got to return back to base. Not much to fight over in this bot lane, nor even really in the top lane. The only thing is control.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I think one of the bigger stories that we're going to have to look at here is the general story of Evil Geniuses Academy, right? Last split, they did fine. They did decently well in Proving Grounds, but the big thing that we're going to be paying attention to this time is they haven't beat any of the teams that we are expecting to have a lot of success early on, right? They lost it to Gintoss, they lost it to Team Liquid, they beat Golden Guardians, who might be our unfortunately worst performing team at the moment. Cloud9 was our 9th place team going into this, and I feel like this is going to be a huge shakeup for Evil Genius's confidence going forward. One of the things that we have to look at is how confident do you feel going into your later matches? Do you feel like you can win? And Evil Geniuses, we know that they had a little bit of a arguing back and forth last split where they weren't sure how they wanted to play. I don't think it's going to help any of those issues.
I also do want to give credit over to Cloud9. That first week they played with 3 temporary subs. Well, this game they're still playing with 2 of them. They've got most of their core back in the lineup, and Darshan is a big part of that. Where we even talked to Coffee last split about how it feels to play with Darshan and how much he's learned from the veterancy that he brings to every single one of their games.
He's definitely been a big factor, right? You can already tell Cloud9 looks more cohesive, at least on the top side, than they have in the past. And we'll see how much Eden's able to bring that towards the bottom lane, right? If they can get Wixie and Trevor to get a lead over Kaori and Smoothie, this game is going to be a fait accompli, right? You're not going to have a way to really come back into it. So now Eden currently chilling in the mid lane.
Joshi, do they even need to send Sheedan into the bot lane? Bot lane seems like it's doing fine, and it's a Senatom Kench lane. They're perfectly fine being on an island.
Oh yeah, they're super fine with this. Soligo does get out of the ultimate. It's definitely a situation where you're creating enough threats already. I'm just saying, like, they are definitely well advantaged. Is the game over? No, they can all run into Soligo and Kaori and die.
Ooh, especially if you get this pick onto Sheedan, shut him down as well with no response on the other side. Darshan was a little too late. Flash away from the stolen Tomio there. Sheedan was able to at least get somewhat of a space for the rest of his team, but unfortunately he fell and gave a shutdown over to Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from Saligo and Tomio. They finally find a play to work. Copy is going to be forced away from this turret in a moment, but he clears out most of the wave, so the structure survives. But the same thing cannot be said for Evil Genius's bottom lane, because Smoothie is roaming around trying to help out the rest of his team. Kaori left to his own devices, not able to stand up to both Senna and Tom Kent. But we got 30 seconds left. Teamfight timer counting down, Alex. We should be able to see these teams fight for real in a sec.
Well, right now we're seeing
no!
them fight for real in the mid lane. Oh, Saligo! He survives with no health really in his inventory.
I was so convinced Saligo was going to get out of that without having to flash, but then he misses his E. Copy does a good job getting between Azir and the soldier, preventing Saligo from actually jumping to the rest of the team. But with this Infernal Dragon coming up, Evil Genius says, where do they choose to take their fight? Do they want to actually play for this, or are they going to be giving it up and trading it for the Rift Tower? Looks like they don't want to trade, and I think that makes the most sense. Cloud9 are in control.
I don't think that they want to fight over that. They already got the first dragon, so you don't have to worry about an early escalation of soul for the side of Cloud9, but they need the gold. They really are desperately struggling to line their coffers. As you can see, they're down 3,000 gold with no turrets taken. They need to make sure they're at least toppling one of these structures to get themselves relatively back into this game.
Yeah, and taking away this blue buff, you know, small victories, small victories. Surdy has actually recovered a lot of the CS deficit he was looking at previously, and his copy comes to harass a little bit. It at least preserves one camp for Sheehan up here on the top side. So Tomio, you know, clawing his way back. Evil Geniuses look to be a little bit more resilient than I was worried about. And now the question is going to be, when do they choose to take their fights? Kaori has rushed to complete the Muramana. He's not even stopping for the Sheen items, right? He's just going directly for the, you know, for the Muramana. So that is online now. He's got a small power spike already ready.
Oh no, that was a nice clean pick all around by Cloud9 with Kaori out of the picture. They can aggress into the jungle of Tomio and make sure that this Rift Herald will not be played too early. But Saligo scoops up the gobble by Trevor to keep Sheehan alive with a re-engage potential on the line. They could try to see if they can get back the nice knock-up onto Saligo. He tried to be a hero. He tried to save the day, but it's always Surdy there in the right time position to try to save the team. But it wasn't enough. They have two that fell.
We thought it was Cloud9 going to be doing 1-3-1, but they're showing they're strong enough to just go for the team fights as well. They catch Surdy, teleport.
Yeah, this is TP coming in. They've got one snipe on a Sheehan. They can turn it around onto Darshan, who tried to escape back towards Trevor and Wixie, getting harassed along the way. The turret still stands for Evil Geniuses. They got one pick by Kaori.
Yeah, good stuff coming from Saligo to actually find the first part of the pick. Unfortunately, just not strong enough. Tom Kench is still around, and Copy might be in a bit of trouble. Has no flash, has no ults.
Look at Kaori hunting him down, looking to see if he can get that damage onto Copy. But with every one of the structures still remaining for Cloud9, dives at this point are still risky.
I mean, they're always risky, right? Turrets do a bit more damage, but Evil Genius
a bit more damage.
Any structures out of that. A lot more damage, but on the rest of the map, though, oh, okay, Copy.
Just spotting him
he's
out.
poking around. Right, now we're starting to see what we wanted from Cloud9 at the very beginning. We'll take a look at this replay, right? Saligo goes in, but the biggest thing is they just don't have enough damage. There's just so much redundant opportunities for Cloud9 to go in. Evil Geniuses never have all of their members alive at the same time for the fight, and that just means they're constantly fighting with fewer people. They have, you know, they have a worse action economy. They don't have as many buttons they can press, and yeah, the Kaori ultimate finds Sheehan on the backside, but it still feels like a Cloud9 victory to me.
Can we give massive respect to Wixie too? How many of these last embraces has he landed this game alone?
Oh, a lot. He's been looking so good. Trying to really show why this is something that you shouldn't be giving over to Cloud9. They've given it over quite a number of times so far, but this time Wixie has been looking quite good, has their Umbral Glaive online, and now that he is on the Senna, now that they have the Tom Kench and the Talia working together, the 1-3-1 is in full effect. Darshan has 2 items in the top lane. Copy in the bottom lane has 1 and almost a second one completed. And they can just play this slowly out, pushing in all the waves from Evil Geniuses.
And for me, Wixie is just proving why he deserves to be back in Academy. Why he deserves to be on a team with how he's performing. Well, the rest of Cloud9 sure are performing just as well. And you can tell that Copy is not afraid to 1v3, especially because Darshan TP'd in to make sure he could defend him. But you have this Cloud9 team in this game looking the hottest they've looked all season long.
Yeah, we'll see if it's going to be enough. They have control, but oh no!
Oh, Sheeden! You can't do him dirty like that.
And he just finds out Smoothie. Smoothie going down once again, not able to find any kill participation so far in this game. But Cloud9, with total control of the bottom side of the map, they can still look to back away. And from there, they will have total control of the next dragon. They're threatening to stack it up against the kill team that really allows them to match the scaling.
Well, that's why I think Evil Geniuses are trying to make a call on the other side of the map. Looking for the Shelly charge. Will go off. Will net them one turret of the game. Their first one they've gotten for themselves. But at the cost of a TP, it doesn't really necessarily feel that worth for Evil Geniuses.
Well, it's not the worst thing, right? You do need to play to the mirror rule. You need to always be on the opposite side of the map to where you think your opponents are strongest, unless you think you're even stronger. And so, giving over this dragon, it's still only 2 dragons going over to Cloud9, and as they continue to push forward, as they take yet another objective, you know, it's a 6,000 gold lead. As you talked about, they're having trouble lining their coffers. They need to find gold anywhere they can, and we can't fault them for finding a turret.
Well, this goes into how they're... Oh, wait, hold on. We got to put that on pause because that was a Weaver's Wall getting a flash out of Smoothie. Won't chase any further. Wixie in a bad position, gets caught out like that, and tries to trade it back onto Smoothie, but he dies for his sins with a re-engage attempted. They're looking to see if they can chase down the remaining members of Cloud9, but with nothing else to play on the map, Evil Geniuses will take the one pick and go to the bank.
Yeah, so far, Soligo, we didn't talk about him in our pregame, but now he's starting to look like the hero the Evil Geniuses needs to actually find their win. He found a big Sherman Shuffle to start their last fight, which was so close to going well. He finds Wixie this time, and he just needs to continue being able to do this. He needs to feel strong. He needs to feel confident. It's hard to do that when you have such a desperate situation in some of your side lanes, but again, the fact that he's constantly looking to do things is huge credit to him right now. Maybe he is going to be the way that Evil Geniuses come back.
Well, Joshi, this goes back to Champion Selected and what you were talking about when they drafted this Azir in the first place. This leans a lot into Soligo being the playmaker, being the one to try to set up the team. At the moment, it's looking like he's just going to be the one saving grace that makes it so they have any plays.
Yeah. I mean, he's their way to go in. He's one of their best ways to actually deal with the range of Talia and Senna. Oh, God, Tomio.
Jesus, how does it always manage to be 2 people getting caught like that with Smoothie having no flash? They're hunting him down. Seismic shove, picks up an easy pick on a Smoothie.
It looked like a moment for Soligo to potentially go in, but they just don't have enough damage if he does that. But yeah, Tomio just giving Smoothie another hug, and this time it's the kiss of death as Cloud9, they take total control. They don't need to side lane if they are just stronger grouped anyway. Kaori going to be using the ultimate, and I mean, it's on Tomio. I mean, we know that Sheeden's a very good smiter.
Yeah, and Tomio could teach him a lesson and be like, welcome to Academy. But look at Copy's positioning, trying to force out any attempted play. They got a lot of damage on a Copy on the other side with the side control on Surdy. He used that Divine Intervention a bit early. It will thwart Cloud9 from taking the Baron, but it is at a big cooldown lost.
That is a big cooldown gone, and so maybe Cloud9 can try and punish it on the side lanes. They're instantly booking a bottom lane, right? They're like, oh, we know where you want to go.
Trying to catch Surdy off if they can. But Tomio is right there in the wings in case of any doom and gloom. They even are chasing down, chasing out Cloud9 from their own jungle, trying to make sure that this overextension from Cloud9 will be punished. But with the TP coming in from Copy, he has no ult to engage the fight. Instead, it's Soligo looking for a huge Emperor's Divide, but nobody was there to follow up just yet. Tomio's doing his damnedest to take Wixie out of the fight. Will get 1-for-1 at the moment. Stolen Soul, but look at Darshan. He got so much attention from the rest of the team that they could get the kill onto Tomio, then turn their attention back onto Smoothie. It is a killing spree. It is a slaughterhouse for Sheeden as he looks to chase down the remaining member. Weaver's Wall tossed out. Kaori triple killed.
9, 3, and 5. Sheen once again goes huge. Evil Genius is not able to coordinate, but Soligo, you gotta feel for him. He's trying to make the plays every single time, but Copy and Darshan, the solo laners, stand strong. They're going to be still alive at the end of it. They're going to be picking this up, finding another couple of kills worth of gold for their team, and it feels like if that play wasn't going to go well, I don't know what else they can really do. But the big thing we got to pay attention to, one, Wixie just books it, right? He just runs. He doesn't stop the auto attack. He doesn't look for opportunities to go up against Tomio. He's just trying to buy as much time as possible. On the other side, watch Trevor. He actually finds this two-man knockup, buying so much time, allowing Darshan to get back into the fight with a huge shield. And even Surdy, level 14, doesn't have the damage yet, isn't level 16, doesn't have the items. It's just a rout coming through from Cloud9. They're able to find a couple of small plays coming up big for Cloud9.
And where did all that gold and kills go to, Joshi?
Sheeden.
Look at that gold differential between Sheeden and Tomio. My God, this is the game for Sheeden to really show off and strut his stuff.
He's been looking quite good, right? He's looked very good in both of their wins. Darshan as well, really stepping up and showing why he was so feared in the academy scene previously. So we are starting to run into the part of the game where Evil Genius's biggest win condition is Cloud9 walking into them one at a time and letting the Sand Soldiers just beat them up one after another.
Look at Surdy.
Uh-oh.
He's trying to get gold. He's trying to get back into this game. He's got TP just in case if he wants to TP out of there. That is going to be what he opts for. But you're losing the TP now, and there should be the trigger called after they get this dragon to immediately book it to Baron and have Cloud9 siege that down.
Yeah. We do have to note, though, Surdy is very, very close, probably a wave away from level 15. And if he gets to level 16, he gets the extra range. Yeah, okay, he just hit it now, but he was so close to a moment ago, and we have to remember, level 16, he gets the extra range, he just gets to do a ton of extra damage.
Yep.
It's a way for them to come back, but I worry that it might be too little too late. They still have to deal with a huge range advantage, and I don't know if Kel can get in.
Okay, Carrie.
Oh! Wow! That was like... It was like, you have to go for that kind of thing, right? Like, he was so far behind. I feel like you do. You got to try and make something happen. Unfortunately, he's just a little bit off.
I think you just try to see if you can hold the line until Surdy gets level 16, and then you rush him.
Perhaps. It was definitely a wild attempt, for sure. He's trying to make things happen.
It's my kind of play, that's for sure.
The shenaniganeries.
Yeah, and it doesn't really lose them anything, actually. Look at what... They still have vision control around Baron to make sure that Cloud9 can't take it. It's been some time. He's about to respawn here in just a couple seconds to make sure they can answer any play attempted by Cloud9. So I guess you just attempt it because if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you didn't really lose anything.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, shrug your shoulders. Better luck next time. Tomio getting caught.
Yeah, it looks like Copy was doing a lot of damage to him on the other side. Carry had to TP back into the play in case Cloud9 continued to chase forward. The Darshan topples the Azir turret mid lane to keep EG corralled towards this tier 2.
It's so difficult for Evil Geniuses to even try and check the upcoming Baron that is definitely going to happen for Cloud9 at some point, right? They have total control. They just need to clear out a couple more wards, and then they can just start looking for these picks. Copy will be picking up a top lane turret as well. 2 more kills effectively going over. And Cloud9, the 1-3-1 is back online. You have Fiora, Yone in the side lanes, and how do you even attack? The Talia plus the Senna plus the Tahm Kench are just so hard to get on top of them.
I'm just looking at that timer. Still level 15 for Surdy. A bit of a ways off till level 16. That timer is ticking for Evil Geniuses for a potential comeback into this game.
Yeah, he's halfway. About 4 more waves, I would say, is what Surdy needs to actually get that level 16.
That's a long time still.
Yeah, it's right about the time that the Cloud Dragon actually comes through if he's able to get all the experience, right? So that is something. You will be in a decent spot if he can get that for this last Cloud Soul. And if you can win that fight, it's kind of trivial. I don't want to say it's trivial, but it's way easier for Evil Geniuses to come back from that position if they can stop the Cloud Soul. And Evil Geniuses are not going to get an opportunity to do that.
Well, the fact that Surdy doesn't have the TP from the attempted play before, they look to see if they can punish Evil Geniuses for trying to dare to attempt to stop this Baron play. For Cloud9, they got all the pressure they need. They're keeping Evil Geniuses into their territory. Even if they peel off of that, they're making sure they can whittle away at the defenses of Evil Geniuses and burn as much as they can.
Yeah, okay, Sturdy is about 1 wave away at this point. He's definitely going to get level 16. The fact that Cloud9 don't have great tools to actually get teamfights started is helping out quite a bit. Sturdy goes from mid lane to top from mid lane to bottom lane, just picking up every wave he feels like he can safely. But with a minute and a half left, Evil Geniuses...
Oh! He done it!
What?
He's level 16.
Oh! I thought you were talking about
The
Kyrie. I was like, what did
countdown.
Kyrie do? He
The
eat over a wall?
Is complete, Joshi. They've got Serdi online. It doesn't matter if he's 1 and 6. He is online, damn it.
Okay. I mean, this is it, right? This is what Evil Geniuses wanted. Cloud9 did a really good job punishing the early game, but now we'll see if they can actually capitalize on their gains. They need to take control. They need to make sure that Serdi never really gets to hit, because even though he's level 16, he doesn't have very many items. He's about a full item behind most of the members of Cloud9.
Yeah.
Full, effectively like 2 items behind where Sheeden currently is. And as people start to set up for the next dragon, as people start to set up for the Baron buff, it becomes more and more difficult for Evil Geniuses to try and even check, but now they're looking for Darshan.
They're looking for any pick possible, especially with the reset from Sheeden. This could be their chance to strike. The flash from Darshan used early, try to get some distance, but with no turret to defend himself. They're paused a little bit too late. They've got the Grand Challenge. That damage from Darshan! 1v4, and he trades back a good chunk of change onto Tomio.
Yeah, in the mid lane, Wixie and Trevor are going to be picking up a turret, and Sheeden is already in prime position to actually pick up the dragon. They expended a lot of tempo in order to try and pick up Darshan, and he is able to get out. But the turrets in the base of Evil Geniuses are standing tall, and at some point, Cloud9, they've been playing a 1-3-1 quite well so far, but they're going to need the Baron if they want to 1-3-1 their way into the base.
Truthfully, I think if you're EG, Cloud9 getting the dragon here is a blessing. Because it's only the Cloud Soul. Well, I still think it's a powerful soul for them to move around the map. It's still something that they can combat against. But it now means that the Elder Dragon will spawn in about 6 minutes. And that could be a potential fight for the side of Evil Geniuses, especially because as this game continues to scale, they are scary. With not only just the Kayle, but Viego and Azir are both powerful now that they've gotten themselves 2 to 3 items.
Yeah, they're definitely strong. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world for Cloud9 to finish this, but I don't think we're going to see this Elder Dragon ever spawn unless Evil Geniuses win a fight between now and that time. Darshan
able to riposte, jumps over
oh,
the wall.
God!
Another grand challenge, but he's bounced around. He's shot down. Way too aggressive, Darshan.
What? What was that? That's the second time we saw Jenkins do the exact same thing, same wall in one of their losses earlier in the week. We can't see our veterans doing this, but they're looking for Kauri.
They're looking for Kauri. Copy dives in, but he's forced back pretty early when they saw the TP from Serdi on the other side. Evil Geniuses have a very fast Baron take. With Azir and Kayle and Viego, they can melt down this purple worm.
Okay, yeah, they're looking for it. They have the DPS to do it, but Serdi is not able to hit. And we're seeing, right, some of the issues that are coming through from Cloud9. Darshan feels pressure to do things. He feels like he needs to actually go for these kind of plays because they have no engage tools.
They gotta be careful. It's Tomio and Serdi by themselves. Copies cut off their retreat. The TP behind might be too late. They've already got the Divine Intervention coming in from Serdi, while Tomio is getting chased down by 3 members, doing his best to cut it out, but it's Sheeden dominating in this game, making sure there's no smite now remaining for Evil Geniuses.
Darshan teleporting in, right? We will see how this fight goes.
Looking
Tomio's not there. There's no smite.
Look at Darshan. Now he's just creating space at this point, and he might just solo kill Kauri along the way. He's got so much damn damage. The flash comes in. He's got a Guardian's Angel to proc more time. The Baron has been secured. Soligo goes golden all the while, and a lot of damage is thrown back out, but he is killed by the godlike Sheeden, as the rest of the members of Evil Geniuses are trying to kite back the best they can. But it's Sheeden. It's his show. It is his time to shine against Evil Geniuses. 11-3 with the Baron in tow. Cloud9 are set for victory.
An incredibly split, chaotic fight ends up meaning that Cloud9 have the health bars necessary to actually use this Baron buff to get into the base of Evil Geniuses. Tomio, trying to stay alive, almost gets caught out by the seismic shove as the first turret goes down. Cloud9 have accomplished their main objective. They have ways to get the inhibitors. They have ways to get the third lane pushing. And now Tomio, he's 5 levels down.
Yeah, you don't want to fight Sheeden. You don't want to get caught out like that. It's just too easy for Cloud9.
I didn't realize that. He's 5 levels behind. Each level is worth about, 600 to 1,000 gold on average, right? That's 3,000 goal of stats that he's missing. He gets caught out again. And this fight, again, absolutely chaotic. It feels like Darshan is just so confident in his ability to go through it, and he actually gets like trolled a little bit there by Trevor, right? The last Q doesn't hit Cowrie because he gets eaten out of it. The damage doesn't go through, but it's still enough, right? This is the kind of fight that Cloud9 actually does pretty decently in. They want to have this chaos. They want to have Copy and Darshan looking for these opportunities. It's where these players can shine. We know Copy can be a big carry for his team. He proved it to us in spring.
Yeah, but this is not Copy's game. This is
Nah.
Sheedan's. He's got 10 stacks of Magi's. He's gone for Magi's. That's how far ahead he is, and the confidence he has that there's no way Evil Geniuses can even touch him.
Yeah, very, very confident, right? He has some of the most range. Oh my gosh, what was that? I think that was a single large rock taking a third of Cowrie's HP away almost instantly. But the 1-3-1 is online again. Saligo.
Okay, Saligo gets a good trade on a Copy. Wait, Copy dies! 1v1 by Saligo while Smoothie just got eviscerated by Sheedan. They've got at least a 4v4 potential. Saligo does not have Emperor's Divide anymore, so he's got to be careful when looking for these fights into Sheedan.
Yeah, they defend their inhibitor as well. It's still alive. It's tougher now for Cloud9 to push in. Tom Kenshin Senna waiting for things to come through, but Tomio
Still 4 levels behind Sheedan, and this is rough. This is where it's a jungle diff for sure, but at the same time, Joshi, look at what's possibly going to spawn. In a minute's time, Elder will be on the Rift.
A couple over-aggressive plays from Cloud9 does give an opportunity for Evil Geniuses to play for this next objective. So he's got an entire another item. The Zonia's Hourglass is completed. Between that and the Divine Intervention, he's got about 4 seconds of invulnerability to work with throughout the upcoming fights. And Saligo, he's done a good job, right? Actually getting things started. If Evil Geniuses feel confident, this is the time to show it. This is the time to actually back it up. And again, gotta pay attention to if they can even get in. They have a good team fight front to back if they can actually get it to happen.
I feel like this game is Shigenin versus Saligo at this point. Saligo is not someone we talked much about, but his Azir play in the past has always been fantastic. And now that Azir is back in the meta, he is showing off that despite the rest of the team being so massively far behind, he's still able to find these plays.
Yeah, the Azir is definitely a very strong champion, but Cloud9, they're not letting Evil Geniuses get any vision. It's going to be a forced face check coming out from Evil Geniuses, and they don't have anybody that's very good at face checking. Who's going to be the first one to walk into the bush? Is it going to be Saligo? No, Tomio's down for He can't do it, and so they're just hitting
Sheedan! Oh, one big rock to Smoothie's face, half health. All this time, it's the Elder that is being taken by Cloud9, and Evil Geniuses aren't even answering. You gotta pull the trigger, guys, otherwise this game is over.
Oh, where's the teleport? Here comes Darshan.
And they've already got the Divine Intervention. They've already got Cowrie. He dives back into the back line, but he is the second casualty. Make it 3 total, because this is Cloud9's game. They've got everybody. Sheedan has got 14 kills, and he's got 24 stacks in his Magi's.
There were a couple hiccups in the first half of this series, Magical, but at the end of the day, it is Cloud9. They look like a new team, a team reforged. Darshan comes through, the veteran presence helping. He shot calls Sheedan up to his lane. They take control of the top side. They put Surdy in the dirt, and then when it all comes down, they have a better call around the Elder. They take total control, and all the sins are forgiven.
All sins, and this is quite the bounce back for Cloud9 Academy. Having Darshan in for the team really does seem to have changed how we're seeing Cloud9 play here on the Rift. It was far more top-side focused, utilizing the Fiora matchup into Kayle, knowing Kayle is weak early, and that got Sheedan off to just a gargantuan lead.
Yeah, I'm getting shades of what we were seeing from Tenacity earlier, right? When he was like, just give me a skill matchup. I'm going to win it anyway. That's kind of what it feels like Darshan chose to do right now. And when you have an extra person in your pocket, when you just have that jungler spending so much time going for, I think it was 3 dives up against Surdy, it's not even a skill matchup at that point. You're just trying to dunk on your lane opponent. And Cloud9 looked so good. Darshan and Sheedan, absolutely dominant duo so far in this first half.
Just dominant. It was great to see from both of them, especially for our first time seeing them on the stage. Obviously, you know, scrims are different. They've probably been practicing a lot together, but you could see that practice has really worked out for them because they looked fantastic in that game. Just absolutely beautiful. But for now, we're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for our halftime show as well as Game 2. Make sure you stay tuned.